do. Alright, let's roll.
G'day.
Hello, how are we going?
Good.
Oh
How are
yeah,
you?
going good. Excited for today. So we're looking at Puff Marth from what I can see.
Yeah,
I'll
definitely.
just go through your
Mhm.
questions quick. Oh, I liked your answers a lot actually. I had to look through them earlier.
That's
They're very
good. I
good.
can't remember what I wrote down, honestly.
I guess we can just go through them. What do you want out? Like, what are your goals when it comes to melee? They're here, but just so you can go through them with me. What do you want out of it?
Yes. Yeah, so like I can't remember. I actually legitimately can't remember what I put down. It was something like wanting to prove myself or some shit, wasn't
Okay.
it?
Yeah, you had be comfortable to not hesitate game plan. So you want long-term Vic PR and then like pretty good
Yeah,
mods. That's a good goal. You're probably not too far off that. Like you could probably get that in the next year pretty easily if you keep at it.
yeah.
Um, yeah, no, I like this. The game plan and then strength and weakness as a player was pretty interesting too. It's like you feel like you're really good against macro, but like a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
So what do you mean when you struggle with mentality? Can you go into that a little bit more?
Um I sometimes it's like I just get frustrated really easily sometimes.
What do you find
Uh,
frustrates you?
hmm. I don't know, it's hard to pinpoint. Like sometimes I enjoy playing people who kind of just do the same shit over and over again because one hand like I get to practice certain things. I don't know. It's hard to
Do you
really describe.
it's a really good point because it's really important to find what frustrates you. How do I
Yeah.
explain this? It's like I know it's often things that frustrate you. It's so frustration is like when you expect something to be different and it's not. So it's like it's pretty important to know what frustrates you because it's if it's you're getting consistently frustrated with something that isn't really warranted being like something that won't change, it's not very useful. If that makes sense.
I actually know, yeah, I actually know now. It's like when I'm unfamiliar with something and I don't know what to do about it, that's
Okay.
what really frustrates me.
That's good. So like if you're, is it like, do you find when you're getting overwhelmed or if someone's doing an option you just can't handle it, that really gets to you?
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think that. Yeah.
Sometimes it's also like sometimes I do know the answer, but I'm just not like able to deal with it yet.
Yep. Yep. No, don't
That
worry.
also frustrates
All
me
there.
too.
We're all there. We're
Yeah,
all there. I think
yeah,
it's that frustration. I think if you were so basically, because I think every player who's played this game forever has had that sort of frustration where there's like I know how to deal with this, I'm just not. It's
yeah,
like what you need to learn to do with that sort of frustration is you need to separate it. You need to go like I understand like it's okay. It's actually okay to be frustrated about this because like you obviously know what's happening and you obviously know like theoretically how you should be punishing it. And that it's
yep,
okay to be frustrated about that, but what's not okay is letting that frustration stop you from fixing it. So it's like
mm,
what you kind of how you kind of want to approach it is you want to go, yeah, I'm frustrated about it. This sucks. I want to beat it. Like
hmm,
rather than going, oh, like I can't beat it. I should be able to beat it. What's happening? Like I'm like
yeah,
start freaking out. It's sort of just like using that frustration to focus on fixing the problem rather than um having that frustration prevent you from fixing the problem. If that makes sense. And like using it
yeah.
to overwhelm it.
I've actually been kind of doing that because when I
That's
got
great.
back into Path, I I realized that Marth and Falco were like my worst
Hmm.
matchups by far coming back into it. So that's why I kind of started playing a shitload of Marth and Falco. And like in the beginning, I kind of hated playing against Marth with Puff, but I actually don't mind it anymore. I kind of enjoy it.
That's great.
So
That's
like,
really good. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That's the exact flow chart. Like if you get annoyed at it and then you figure it out and then no longer you're frustrated. I think as long as your frustration, as long as you're aware of your frustration, you don't let it detract from like you don't let it you it's like you sort of have to be okay with your frustration sitting there while you're still trying to be proactive in problem solving in game. So it's like it's about like being
yeah,
okay with being frustrated while still trying to problem solve.
yeah.
But yeah. That's really good. Why Puff's an interesting. Why Puff? Like what really brought you to Puff? Like after all your character switching?
Um,
Like, what do you enjoy
I don't
about Puff
know.
now?
I enjoy. I kind of enjoy a lot of like defensive sort of play as
Mm-hmm.
well. Like I don't know, Yoshi's like filled with it. It's a lot of counter hitting and
Yep.
stuff, and I don't know. I've always been drawn to the defensive characters like Peach, Yoshi, Ice Climbers, Puff. Um, and I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know why Puff in particular. I think like there's a couple of things like I played Puff in 64. I
Yep.
loved Puff in 64. Like back when I was like 10 or something. So it's a bit of like nostalgia for it. Yeah, I don't know.
Personally, I think Puff's really cool. I like how you use the air drift to drift in and out, and you get like these like wacky whiff punishes, and you do all these like baits with tiny micro movements in the air. I think it's really cool. I think Puff's punish is cool with like back air strings and like the up airs and how you like transfer off that. I
Yeah,
think there's some cool stuff there. But
movement just feels
yeah,
smooth.
yeah. But I've
Feels
always
really
found
nice.
yeah, because you can do whatever you want. Yeah, you're like flowing.
Yeah, nice. It's
Um,
nice.
Yeah, quickly before we go into that, the one last thing I want to cover on before we can get into the games is you hesitate, like you're talking about how much you enjoy the defensive play style, but you talk about how you
Yeah,
feel about camping and like playing in a style that will upset people.
yeah. Look, I need to just like suck it up and just
Mhm.
say like people are gonna be upset with me no matter what I
Yep.
do, and just fucking just let it rip.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
just shut up, like straight.
Unless
I do hesitate a lot.
it's
Yeah.
that sort of thing where it's like it's even that it's I feel like if people are losing to a path, like whether they got camped or not, they're probably gonna say they got camped. So it's like it's sort
Yeah.
of the thing where it's and like people can't differentiate like proper defensive play from not. So I think it's I need to be close Facebook. But yeah, I think it's kind of the thing where you have to realize like you should stop. It's like you expect your opponents to like. What I realize is like when it comes to defensive play, people have no idea what they're annoyed about. It's
Yeah,
this
I
really
get
weird
that.
thing where like you're like, oh, is this defensive? Are they gonna get annoyed about me staying in the air for 4 seconds? It's like no, they're just gonna get annoyed anyway because they don't know what defensive play is. So it's like this
Yeah.
sort of thing where you just sort of you have to just push past that and just learn to like play your own game and flow into it because naturally the best melee often comes from a mix anyway. And
Yeah.
a lot of people just won't recognize that and be annoyed no matter what you do. So like if you try to please people, it's not going to work because even if you are like technically more aggressive than other people, you're still going to be called campy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you just
I'm
can't
just
win.
gonna-
When you pick a floater, you just
Yeah.
can't win, man.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. I did skim through your games earlier and I already have some key points to go over, but I'm interested to hear your thoughts as we go through it as well.
All
But
right,
this was a little session versus Melodic yesterday or the day before, something like that.
Yeah, yesterday. Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think of the
Very
session
happy.
before we go into it? This is the good game, I believe.
Yeah, the good game was like the one game that I actually won. I was very
Mhm.
happy with that. And yeah, the session was pretty good. I like midway through it all, like the middle games, I started really kind of finding a groove. Like in the beginning, I was kind of like, I don't know, shit in the bed a little
Yep.
bit because it's melodic, but yeah, like I started getting the hang of things.
Yep.
Um,
Alright.
yeah, no, I feel good about the game. So really
Cool.
fun.
That's a really good sign. Melodic's not half-assed against Puff at all. So we'll have
Yeah.
a look. Who might? I think, yeah, that's what I want to talk about, finding the flow against Puff. It's already come up like a few times and like this early, but Puff's a lot more about sort of... Oh, you're not doing a bad job of it. It's sort of like you're sort of... The idea of most floaties, and like Puff especially, like anyone who uses air drift like this, Falcon as well, it's the sort of thing where it's like you don't want to be like drifting in to hit them. You want to be drifting in and then like going like you want to be drifting in past a hurt box. Like you want to be like there's like a hitbox that could be coming out, and you want to sort of like position yourself and like slowly slow yourself down and go like over it or around it or come in just after it with a back air sort of thing. with Puff and like most floaties, it's pretty much impossible, and Falcon as well. It's pretty much impossible to get like clean, overwhelming hits. You sort of want to just like manage your character and then sort of just like slowly nudge your way in until there's a point where like you can come in on top of a hitbox or at a weird angle from under the hitbox. You're never like trying to directly challenge them.
Yeah, I get that, definitely.
So it's like this, like what I'm talking about, like what made me like think about it, like right at the start, is like what do you think made me think about this?
Hang on, you're not streaming.
Oh, I'm not sure. Oh yeah. I'll stream that. Yeah, of course. I'm very smart. I forget about it in tournaments, forget about it in coaching. There we go. Alright. There's the
Alright, sweet, yep.
Yep. What do you think made me bring up that point?
Well, just like the way I drifted up or whatever.
Yeah, like this big bear in.
Yeah, that one.
Like you see how far you went in? It's like Puff, it's never gonna be, or we'll talk about the side plat. The side plat's the one exception. But Puff, you're almost never gonna be able to like overwhelm your opponent by like forcing in. And also, do you know about it's called hitbox extrapolation, which is a really important concept of like pretty much every character in the game, but especially the defensive characters. Extrapolation, something like that.
Does that mean like it kind of stretches out when you're moving?
Yeah, exactly. Your hitbox stretches out when you're moving backwards and in when you're moving in. So your hitbox is actually worse when you fade in and better when you fade backwards. So it's really important on like, especially like Path and like Peach's back air and like a lot of other characters' moves like Falcon there, where you don't want to be full fading in these moves because it strictly makes the hitbox worse.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So like with Path, basically like instead of doing this full hop and this full drift in, what you could have done is you could have like floated here and then like sort of hovered in, like stayed here for a little bit and then sort of hovered in with a much like less strict drift. And that would have like, not only would have that given you a chance to like straight up beat this fair if you just hovered in this spot for a second because he got antsy and hit you, but it would have it would have given you just like a strictly better hitbox, which would have had like a better chance of trading were he not to take the bait.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like it's hard because you're getting overwhelmed, but like again, what I want to talk about is Puff's about finding these little holes. Like you never want to force your way in. It's about slowly working your way in and sort of having a read when they're going to attack, and you sort of just hold yourself outside of that range. Like you jump into that range, you stop your drift, and then you move into that range like after they hit. Sort of thing. You want to do a lot of little pauses in your movement, and you want to do a lot of little patient things. You can do a similar thing on the ground where it's not just air drift. Like you can drift on the ground and then you can do like a little wave dash in sort of thing. It's a lot of little like stay there, move in, instead of just like drift in, out sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about the biggest thing, like when I skim through this, is moves that... Yeah, okay. This as well. So, number one is recognize when your opponent... It's hard because a lot of, like, newer players won't do this. But if your opponent is in lag, right? Like, you see how I did the F smash and he knew, like, he couldn't act, right? They're holding down.
Yeah.
Like, any good player, like, especially versus Puff, where this could kill him, right? Like, any good player who whiffs a move, like a grab or a forward smash or anything, will hold down during the lag. Because, like, to prevent this. So, like, the up air just won't work. So, what do you think you could do instead of this up air sort of thing? There's a few options here.
Well, I know one of them, which is, like, you can literally just shield drop rest.
Yep. So, that yeah, go ahead.
I don't really know what else you do.
Considering, like, maybe you're, like, you got hit with this, you're a little bit... We're going to talk about, like, so, basically, yeah, you're going to have to take all the free rests, and we'll get into that later. But, like, there's a few options here. Like, sometimes you get hit and you're like, oh, I didn't expect him to force smash. I'm a little bit late. What do you reckon you could do here? Expecting he's going to hold down. Instead of doing this up air.
I don't think down air is a good option. Like, maybe it is. I have no idea. I think, like, doing a spaced bear or some shit.
Yeah, exactly. Good. Yeah. That's fine. I think like the other most important thing about, so we're gonna get into percents later. So basically, you want to pick your moves on percents, but like the most important thing of Puff, especially in this matchup and most matchups, is you want to get them like above 10-15%, and then you want to kill them.
Okay.
So it's like so you want to, like, the first move you want to pick is, like, maybe you get a free kill or something off, like, a random hit. But, like, at the start of a match, you sort of want to be, like, fishing for, like, a really safe 10%, which is normally bear, right?
Yeah.
And then after that 10%, you want to be fishing for all the moves that kill them. So it's, like, it's really good at this percent to just take the free bear and trade in. And then, like, once you've taken that bear, it's also really good if you play the first bit of the stock safe with bears, because it sort of conditions them to, like, try to overextend to beat the bears, and then once the first bear hits, you sort of, now they're in kill percent.
Yeah.
And now they're going to be overextending, trying to hit you. Now you want to be switching to, like, the up airs to catch under. You want to be switching to like rest, or like rest setups and like up tilt and like all of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just a big point, is just like playing your percents is super, super important with Puff, whereas like play a little bit safe early and maybe look for a grab, like grab in the corners, your best opener. Like I noticed you doing like Nair out of shield in the corner later in this, like later in this VOD. And it's like, it's really important, like at low percent when they can CC it, is you just grab and throw them off stage, because that's just your best, instead of looking for like these weak, oh, this is sick, nice. Instead of looking for like all the weak aerials and just like skimming them with weak aerials and praying they won't hold down, like good players will, it's much more efficient to be looking for the grab or just a space bear.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. That was good. Well, we'll just watch for a bit and see what happens. Yep, see, this was the spot, man, that made me think about it. Right, like just like, it's not even because obviously like you might have been too late to recognize a rest, but like what should have you done instead of this now? He's at 0.
Yeah, you just like kind of fade back bear or something.
Yeah,
like,
you know, like in this spot, we'll just have a quick look at it again.
Grab.
Yeah, he's off stage. You can literally kill him, or like at minimum, grab's gonna be like, if you grab him, back throw him. Well, you could either read a jump with bear, and that could be another bear. He could be dead, or you could force him back to stage, and you could rest, and he could be dead, right? So like, again, this is like a percent game, especially because you're in the corner. If you notice, when you're playing the percent game, and when you're playing, like, it's important to think about stage positioning as Path, where you're like, it's just grab, back throw here. And you have to get, like, one of the most important things about Puff, I think what I was really impressed with Spinal when I was watching him is just, like, being really confident about what you can and call out with back throw. And, like, how all the different mix-ups, whether jump, no jump, like, delays, and how all of that works. That's probably where you get your most mileage as Puff, outside of, like, the free rests. So it's, like, it's just really important to get used to grabbing, especially in the corner, and to, get used to your follow-ups of grab.
Okay.
I like how you're not afraid to use the ground. I think like something really important that a lot of Puffs don't realize is like being unafraid to like just land and use the ground with wave dash, because it's really risky for Marth to whip punish on the ground. But yeah, I find that really good. So it's when you're landing, it's like versus Marth especially, it's important to like mix up whether you're on the ground or in the air.
I remember like reading somewhere or watching something basically saying like using the ground is really important in this matchup, because like in the air you kind of just get beat a lot of the time.
But exactly.
On the ground you have a lot of options.
And like between like with Puff's bear range, especially like between faded in and out and pound and all of that, it's like it can be really like ambiguous whether you're gonna be on the air and like go in or be on the ground. So like learning to make your landing ambiguous, because like sometimes you can like look like you're almost landing and they're gonna like look to pressure your landing and you can sort of jump back and hit them, or you can land and like look for a crouch if they're expecting like a jump to hit. And it's like that mix up is so important, because if you win that mix up and they try to grab or something and you're crouching, you can just kill them. So it's like recognizing like when you're low, like I think one of the most important things is like just when you're low to the ground, like when you're like in this spot. And, like, obviously, if the Marth is on stage, when you're in this spot and just, like, either choosing, like, recognizing this is a mix-up, whether you want to land, or whether you want to do something in the air, like back air or, like, space out of it.
Okay.
Yep, that was good. But yeah, again, that's kind of why I think, this up air would have just straight led to rest if you got your first bear.
Yeah,
right?
that's a hard one to
Do you,
react to.
it is like no, I think no, but like I think at 0, it's basically impossible. But my point is like that first bear on Puff is so important. Like the first bear is what like is like when everything, all the rest setups become easier. Like up tilt rest at
Yeah,
0 is really really hard, and like often not true. And like that up air rest isn't true. But if you landed that one bear, you got him to 12%. Suddenly that up air rest is like significantly easier and probably true, right?
yeah, okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like getting that first up air and then playing your like playing that percent game is really really important.
I do this a lot. The nair up tilt.
Yeah.
It catches a lot of people off.
Something you can do with this, yeah. I think this nair rest would have actually been true. That would have been the Garfield. Let's have a look. I think it actually, yeah, it might have actually been true if you could get it, which is funny. But yeah, it's, I think mixing, like if people start shielding, then like mixing up nair up tilt with nair grab as well. Like I think Puffs get stuck on not using grab enough at low levels because they don't really realize how powerful it is. But like as soon as you get used to like back throw, and as soon as you get used to like the mix-ups of back throw, you slowly start to realize that like one of Puff's biggest tools is just like back throw edge guarding. It's like
Yeah.
one of your like your biggest opening is like up air and like pound and back throw sort of thing.
Okay.
So like
Yeah.
you have to get used, and like obviously like up tilt at low percents too. You have to get used to like grab being one of your biggest like opening buttons. Like versus not just spaces, but also like Marth, Falcon, all of that. And it's just like really, really grinding out and really thinking about your edge guard after the back throw as well.
Yeah.
That's good. I like there's a lot of like just really good like patient slow drifts. But then you get a little bit too antsy with how you come in, but he's not quite punishing it. Nice. Yeah, so we can talk about this. So,
I'm really bad at edge guarding.
Yep.
It's gonna be very obvious.
how do we go into edge guarding? 'Cause this is already a lot. But I think what you want it, like, the easiest thing I can do without not making it overcomplicated is when you're in this spot, all Puff has to do is jump back with fair. It's like whenever you think like you should be watching him, seeing what he does, and jumping back with fair, because this like if he lands on stage, you jump back and you can punish it, and if he goes to ledge, you can jump back and you can punish it. It's just like watching the Marth and then like either reacting to the side B and waiting, or just like jumping back for the up B. It's if you watch like every HFox VOD ever, you just jump back and fair, and you like wait for the Marth to enter this area, and then you punish it. There's no real, like, Puff's, like, so powerful on the ledge in, like, edge guarding situations, because you're not really confined to the ledge. You can float up here, you can float down, like, you can drop down with the fair as well in this spot. Like, if you just drop down with the fair here, it would have got him, especially, like, the weak hit. So it's, like, just getting used to, you don't have to stay on the ledge, and you shouldn't be on the ledge very often. You use the ledge as sort of, like, a reset point to either go down or away.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
That's just, wishful thinking.
Yeah.
I think it's fine, like, okay, like, I think going for it gets you more used to, like, when it's actually good. But yeah, I think you just need to react to his air drift. I think you just wanted the forward smash too bad. Whereas, like, if you want the, like, whenever you're thinking about that forward smash, you shouldn't want it too bad, if that makes sense. Because it stops you from looking at air drift.
Yeah, I don't go for them too often.
Yeah, that's good. But it's not bad. Like, those forward smashes get you, like, a lot if you actually, like, bait them in properly. But you sort of have to... The more, like... If I am... Something that takes a long time to, like, realize and learn is, like, the longer... Oh, wait, no, back to the forward smash. Is, like... Generally, if it doesn't happen almost straight away, it's probably not going to happen. Like, you see this position...
Yeah, that's a good rule.
It's like, you see how you're pressured in this position and he's shielding and he's waiting. So like now like as soon as he doesn't bite like early on this wave dash back, he's now, I'm gonna slowly work out my corner and I'm not gonna do the thing that lets the buff kill me for free, right?
Yeah.
It's like as soon as your opponent recognizes the situation is when you should also recognize that it's probably not gonna work and you should go for like a safer option to beat him doing the safe option.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, that's honestly a really good rule where it's like, if they don't bite straight away, it's probably not going to work.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, I tried to grab too early.
Yeah. Yeah, you just gotta grab. You gotta be really, really. So, like, I think a lot of the way you pick moves right now is based off the fact that you're not comfortable edge guarding. I think one of the biggest. I think. Well, we can start with notes. I should be doing notes already, but we'll start with notes now. But like, be willing. So one of the strongest. How do I word this? I think you have to be looking to put your opponent in edge guard spots because that's just factually one of the strongest positions Puff can be in.
Yeah.
Go for pick options that lead to edge guards. Grab is good. But yeah, I think I think like those spots, you just like, and also you have to remember that Puff doesn't really get punished for grabbing, especially in this matchup at low percent, right? Because you just hold down. And like the worst thing he's gonna do is he's gonna grab you, and like sometimes if you're holding down, then and he's late, then you get to rest. So it's grab's just the best option you have. Like sending your opponent off stage is just really good, and like if you're not going it because you're not confident in yourself off stage, that's really bad because you're never gonna be confident off stage if you don't go for it.
Yeah, I kind of got baited by Melodic like a while back because I think I probably grabbed a little too much, but he told me just to not grab as much.
That's pretty funny. But no, like you should be like this percent is like you look for grabbing like the spaced bear. You don't really look for anything aggressive because they can like CC it.
Yeah.
Yep, that's your 12%. It's not like, again, like you shouldn't, because basically when you go for this dash attack, it's guaranteed to get you hit for it.
Yeah.
But yeah. That was good drift. I don't think there's much point in spot dodging as Puff in this matchup.
Okay.
If you hold down, he's dead. Right?
Yeah, it's like.
Is it not?
I kind of just like. Sometimes they can just grab you anyway, you know.
Yeah, but like, I guess. Do you have time to rest off this spot dodge? That should be a rest again. That's free. Yeah, I think getting used to. All right, we're just gonna do this. Is like, oh, so all right, that's a more important concept. Whereas like, if you're going, so it's something that takes a while to realize, and it's why like you know you see some paths that have like amazing rests and rest off everything, and you see some paths that don't learn it for 5 years, right? So the difference is, when you go for a counter hit, like either a crouch or a spot dodge, or you go for a specific move that can lead to rest if they pick a certain option, you have to be expecting them to do that option to react to it.
Yeah.
Right?
You definitely do, yeah.
So what you're doing, so basically what you do when you do this crouch, you're sort of expecting them to do anything, and you're like reacting to everything at once, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like that's normally the big mistake you notice, like a lot of puffs. But basically, if I'm you and I'm floating down and I'm like, I'm going to crouch after I land, I'm staring at the Marth, waiting for him to grab. Like I'm not thinking about the other option. I'm like looking at the Marth, and it's called what does Lod call it? It's called reaction confirming or something like that. But it's like staring at your Marth, staring at the Marth, expecting him to grab. And being ready to punish it. So if you're gonna go for like a counter hit option that leads to something, expect your opponent to do the thing that gets you the big reward, because you can't react to everything at once. You'll be too slow, and that's what happened here.
Yeah.
You didn't.
The nair like after it is just like a really just absolute spastic habit that I have.
All right, we're gonna go.
It's really dumb.
If you're gonna play a defensive option, be ready for your opponent to bite.
What does that mean?
So it's sort of like if you're gonna pick, if you're gonna like roll, or you're gonna spot dodge, or you're gonna hold down, you have to be. you should be doing that option, expecting your opponent to buy it in that situation, like expecting your opponent to go for the option that your defensive option beats, right?
Okay.
That's why you're doing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's like you shouldn't be doing the defensive option if you don't expect your opponent to fall for it. So if you're doing the option and you expect your opponent to fall for it, you should be looking at them ready to fall for it, rather than just doing the option and then like reacting to the situation after. I guess we can just leave it there. I will have the explanation. That'll do. But yeah, that's an important rule I've told a lot of people, where it's like, and it's something that it takes you a long time to realize. Like every time you do a defensive option, or like an option that commits you to a certain amount of frames, like it happens with Peach. Like if I spot dodge, I have to be like looking at my opponent to grab. Or if it's a big one with dash back. Like there's a lot of people who dash back, who just dash back and like don't expect their opponent to do anything, right? And they sort of just like, oh, my opponent went in. All right, we'll reset the situation. I'll do something now, but by then it's too late. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But like what you should be doing is every time you like this is like maybe like Fox or Marth specific, where it's like every time you dash back, you should be staring at your opponent, like looking at them, expecting them to do the shitty net in. Because if you're ready, like, because you shouldn't be doing the dash back unless you expect your opponent to be falling for it. Right?
Makes sense.
And you can't get anything out of that dash back on reaction unless you expect your opponent to fall for it. So it's this sort of thing about, if you're going to pick a defensive option, it should be because you expect your opponent to do something, and you should be ready to punish that something.
Yeah.
Yes is all fine, I guess. Ooh, nice. I like that read a lot. Yep. Nice. Good jump read. And you go out. Nice. And oh, you have to rest him for that. Oh, sing. I guess you went for sing. But yeah, I think this is another. This is the same concept as before, whereas like when you're edge guarding and you pick an option, like you do this jump back, or like you should be looking at your opponent ready for them to up B, and you should be instantly ready to punish. But I think you just picked the wrong option here. That's all right.
Yes, there's a lot of things I just need to build a reaction for, and I don't have them yet.
I think specifically for Marth, I might just put this in the option for Marth. And every character really, but especially for Marth, drop down fair and jump back fair. Like just specifically in edge guarding. So like specifically for Marth, it's like that jump back fair and that like drop down fair covers so much. And you can also react to low side B. So it's the sort of thing like when you're edge guarding Marth, you can be doing that jump from ledge, like with fair, and it covers a lot. But also, if you're on ledge, you can actually be looking at the Marth ready to cover side B, because you can actually react to side B. So you can be staring at the Marth below the stage, and as soon as they side B, you can drop down fair.
Okay, yeah.
So basically, this is going to be for everyone, but like when you're edge guarding, and in general, you should be staring at their character, because there's going to be, if we went into Fox, I'd be talking about, like reacting to side B and up B, and just be staring at their character ready for them to do the thing you're expecting them to do. And so like for Marth specifically, as soon as you see the Marth go low, and if you know they haven't side B'd yet, you should be staring at the Marth waiting for them to side B, because as soon as they side B, you can drop down fair.
Yeah.
And you should be like sort of thinking about that in other matchups. Is like, oh, where else can I? That it's gonna be like a reaction thing in general. Whereas like thinking about where can I like stare at them and react to what they're doing.
Yeah, the fair from ledge, right? Just like they're not the drop down ones, the normal one.
Yep.
Is that like I've done that a few times against a few people, and a lot of the time I'm just hitting them back on the stage. Is that like a?
It's the sort of thing. Kinda, it's you want to be fairing probably further back. I think that's gonna be a big thing. Is you're probably gonna want to watch the like a bunch of like puff VODs and just see exactly how they do it.
Okay.
Because definitely, like, all I know is, like, every time I see, like, a puff mod, it's like, I'll see, like, the reaction to the side B, and they'll drop to ledge, and they'll either bear or they'll fair, and they'll kill them. Or they'll do the reset, expecting them to go back to ledge, and they'll jump back and fair. So I think, for you, it's going to be, like, really important, like, watching HBox VODs, watching, like, Solo Battle, and, like, Toussaint and stuff. But yeah, like, we'll just watch and, like, look at how they pick their options edgeguarding, because it's, like, watching you edgeguarding, it's, like, you're sort of just jumping around, hoping they'll do an up B that, like, a timing that, like, doesn't hit you.
Yeah.
That makes sense? It isn't sort of, like, reading a timing, it's just, like, man, I hope they do an up B that won't hit me. That'd be a shame. But yeah, you're gonna get so much mileage when you start edgeguarding. Let's go into the second replay. What do you think was the big difference between this replay and the first one?
The skin change. He changed his
Yep.
White.
Yeah. That'll do
Actually threw me off.
That'll do it.
I don't know, honestly. Like,
what do you think happened?
Like he kept hitting me.
What,
He
sorry?
just kept hitting me. He just kept hitting me. Like, I don't know what to do.
Well, we can watch. This is gonna be the first point. You can do this for all sorts of things. So you do this, I guess it's kind of hard to react to this point.
You need to stream to me again.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I'm so smart. Yeah. So this is going to be the extension, like, Puff, especially, out of basically more than any other character, gets, like, the most out of the like, reaction punishing, like, the reaction confirming stuff I was talking about. Because as soon as you do, like, when you do this roll, you should be looking for him to do something that gets bitten on the roll, right? It's like, as soon as you hit the roll input, you should be looking at the Marth, waiting for him to do something stupid.
Yep.
Does that make sense? Because then you can just rest. He's dead. Oh, well, he's not dead. Or, like, you can rest or you can grab here. Like, grab would be probably the correct option, and you can, like, either forward throw or back throw. And then, like, try to reset the situation. But yeah, it's the sort of thing where it's like, see how you, yeah. First of all, instead of, like, instead of aerial, pick grab. Like, if you're in a punish spot where you're close to your opponent, just grab them instead of going for the aerial, because the aerial's, one, slower, and two, especially at low percent, just gets you less.
Yep.
That was good. You can be more patient. You don't have to, like, something I noticed in the last game that you didn't get punished for as hard. But, like, you see how you sort of, like, tried to full fade in after just, like, standing there, like, for, like, a second?
Yeah.
You can go higher, you can pound, you can, like, stay there for a bit. You don't have to go in after one or two jumps.
I've definitely been punished for that quite a bit, because, like, sometimes I do just get pretty lazy with my recovery.
I think it's just recovery. It's not just recovery. It's like when you're in the corner and you're on, like, this area. I think it's just being a lot more. Alright, well, we'll put this in the notes. I think it's just being more comfortable going higher, like pounding upwards and, like, slight fading in and, like, doing a few more baits. More comfortable going higher and covering slower. Because, like, you have to remember, like, this is Puff's strength. Puff's strength is that she's almost impossible to edgeguard if you play it slow. So if you're impatient, you're literally you're making yourself edgeguardable and you're making yourself punishable coming back, and that you're literally invalidating one of your character's best strengths.
What would you say, if I should do on a stage like FD or something, a stage like no plats?
I think it's the same sort of like what do you mean?
Because like Marth can kind of shark the shit out of me, right?
I think, like,
it's recovering high. Sort of just the way I'm looking at it at the moment doesn't really seem like it'd be the best option. It's
not strictly about high. It's more about, like, being comfortable playing at the edge of the range.
Okay.
Like, you can stay, like, you know, like, if you're an FD, we can go back to like, while we're off stage. You can stay here, like, at the edge of fair range for a while. You have 6 jumps. You have pounds.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
Yeah.
You can, like, but you have to remember, as soon as the Marth goes up and fares, that's a commitment. And if you're able to bait that fair out and like you're able to read the rough timing on it, you can like do some jumps in the air and then you can come down and go low and go under him, right?
Yeah.
Or you can turn your back and you can sort of like drift in the edge, waiting for him to fair, and then you can back air the fair, right? It's this sort of thing of, I guess we'll put that into notes. Be comfortable at the very edge of their range. Like, I don't know if you've watched like my Peach stuff, but like what you'll notice for me versus Marth, I'll literally float there. Like, I'm floating right at the edge of, like, forward smash fair range. And I'll just stay in that zone, and then I'll come in at, like, in a time I expect my opponent to either go for a fair, or I expect that they don't expect. Does that make sense? Like, it's just get comfortable. Be very, very comfortable as Puff, and neutral as well, playing at the edge of their range.
Yeah.
And also, like, the more you do this, the more you understand what the edge of the range is. Because you have to remember, you're a slow character, right? So they can't whiff, and if they whiff, you don't have a burst option to go in. You kind of already have to be there.
That makes a lot of sense.
Does that make sense, right? Like, you already have to be right there to punish. And, like, in order to do that, you have to be comfortable playing right outside their range.
Yeah.
I think it's these, like... I think this is going to come back to being comfortable, playing, like, right at the edge of the range again. Like, you see how much you fade in here?
Yeah.
You don't have to. You can stay up here. If you stayed up here, for like instead of fading in, like, you can fade in a little bit and then, like, move up here. And now, if he whiffs this fair, you can punish it, sort of thing. It's like, it's this... You don't have to full fade in after, like, one move. You should be, like, weaving in and out of this little space that his fair hits.
Yeah. I just felt like before like doing this, I always just felt like I had to kind of press the issue.
Yep,
press,
you don't.
The issue. Yeah.
You don't. But, like, your entire character is based around slowly weaving in and out and, like, playing at the edge of the range and getting that punish, like, getting that punish on the drift in when they bite.
Okay.
But yeah, I think the biggest note for you, and like, well, I'll go over like the key points. I think I'm sort of just talking and going through things as I see them. But at the end, I'll sort of make a more collective sort of thing about the important stuff you should be looking at. But I think definitely one of the things is going to be in, don't full drift in.
All right.
Almost ever. I think what you want to be trying to do in your friendlies is, instead of going for that full drift bear you really like to do, I want you to get really comfortable just sort of playing close to them and doing slight fade downs and like fade ins and arounds. So you don't want to, like, getting really comfortable, not full drifting in and sort of just like falling on top of them as you think they're going to do like a hitbox or something like that. Yeah. I think it's just getting comfortable playing slower, and just as if you can semi-ban yourself from full drifting in and doing like bear or something, I think you'll get like a lot of mileage of understanding how like neutral is meant to work with like puff and floaties.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll give it a shot.
This is the this is the sort of thing where it's like you're guaranteed to get hit for doing this. Yeah. So you might as well like.
It's a hard habit to break.
It is.
It works on everyone except for like the 3 or 4 Marths that are actually good at this game.
But that's the stuff you sort of you have to be able to, you have to be quick at recognizing that. I think understanding, like, if you're gonna go for this on bad people, you sort of have to recognize this is fake. I'm doing this because I expect my opponent to be bad. Because as soon as you allow yourself to do it subconsciously, because it works, is when you verse a good player and you up air them 5 times in a row and they CC everyone.
Yeah.
Right? I think if you're gonna go for this on like worse players, you have to be conscious that you're going for it on them because they're worse players.
Yeah.
We can put this in the notes as well. Be aware that opponent should be holding down in lag. Yeah, and you died for it. So it's like, it's that kind of thing. It's a hard habit to break because you allowed it to become like a subconscious option because you didn't really think about what your counterplay was. So I think like just being proactive about thinking about what is real and what isn't will just like help a lot, even if you still go for it on worse players.
Yeah.
This is the same point. If you watch this. Right?
Yeah.
You see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just full drift in and yeah.
Yeah. Opponent is holding. If your opponent is in lag, they should be holding down. The only reason you go for an aerial or like a full drift in aerial is because you expect them to be awful at the game.
That makes sense.
But like when we're talking about like what you shouldn't do, what should you do instead of this variant?
Oh well, I could literally just rip a rest or something, but that's way too hard to react to. Like you just like get back from ledge to a back air.
What? Yeah, just a back air. You just fade out, you back air, right?
Yeah.
You just jump away from the ledge and you back air, and there's no way he can punish you, and you get your 12%. Right? There's no.
Yeah.
It's the exact same reward for this, except you don't get hit. But yeah, I think it's just be aware when your opponent can hold down when they're in lag, and then it's not a free punish. Nice, I like that. That was good. He didn't shark you properly, but I like that you sort of played. This is good. This is a good sign where you sort of played the edge of this range and the little fade back, and you didn't instantly go for like the full drift in. But that's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can be even slower than that. You can like obviously in this situation he didn't go for it, so it's fine. But you have to remember like you don't have to go in on the second jump. You can just pound and you can just like play the edge of the range a little bit longer.
Yeah, I reckon a lot of that. Like I know you can do that, and a lot of that comes down to like the whole mentality thing as well.
This is gonna be.
Yeah, I need a character.
Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna just tell you that like jumping and pounding one extra time when you're recovering is not being lame. It's playing the game.
Yeah.
This is a weird one. Like, I don't know. It's the sort of thing where it's like, again, this situation's weird, but it's if you're gonna do like an air dodge or something like this, or you're gonna do a defensive option, be ready for them to do something stupid.
Yeah.
Right? If you're expecting them to do something stupid and that's why you're doing a defensive option, you should be ready to punish the stupid thing, right?
Yeah.
That's what makes Puff such a menace. Because like if you're ready to punish the stupid thing, they just die. That's not fair. That's good. Getting you this drill's good, and the like obviously drill up tilt's okay, but like drill grab. Like most people will shield here actually. Like he rolls here, but like getting used to like if you're used to going for the drill up tilt, especially versus better players who will like basically if you're a good player versus Puff, I'm just like I don't want to get up tilted. I don't want to get low up air. That's my entire 80% of my brain power is avoiding those moves, right? I think it's getting used to like how to beat your opponent's counterplay for like the free rest openings. If that makes sense. Where it's like, if you're like, I'm going for this greedy rest opening and it's not true, you should be expecting the good player to be trying to avoid that, and you should sort of be thinking about how you can punish the good player for trying to avoid your rest setup.
Yeah.
That was good. I like this a lot, where you made it sort of ambiguous about how you were fading. And you like, oh, do you see this? This is kind of what I'm talking about playing the edge of the range. Like, I think Melodic played it a little bit poorly, but I think this is a good example. Where it's like, if you look, why this is so good. You see how you jump at the edge of the range and like you sort of just pause, and he swings.
Yeah.
Right. This is like right at the edge of his fair range, and you pause, and then he slung, and then you were able to fall into his range. Like that's what I'm talking about. But playing the edge of the range, right? It's like you can just pause and stay at the edge of their range, and you can fall in with an option to punish them swinging.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think I might describe that as pausing. Pause at the edge of their range, where you're like, I'm just going to hold myself right at the edge of where they can hit me, and I'm going to fade in and out of it a little bit, and then I'm going to fall on them. And we'll sort of go over that again. This works. I
That's
guess
just
it works.
habit.
It's just, yeah, it's the sort of thing where it's like, if you're hit, you don't have the frame advantage to do this. But it worked anyway, because he didn't fast forward now. But it's just like, we won't go, we've gone over a lot of stuff, so we won't go into that stuff yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. You don't die for it. I think, like, I think it's actually okay. I think this is good. I like this crouch. Like, even though you got forward smashed for it, it's actually okay to go for options that, like, get you a kill, but don't get you killed.
Yeah.
So I actually like this a lot, but now you have to recognize, like, what the powerful thing about going for that crouch and getting forward smashed is he's gonna look for it again. So he's gonna expect you to crouch, right?
Yeah.
Because
So
like,
just-
so now you just shield, and
Yeah,
then you rest him. He's
Punish
dead,
that.
right?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think it's using like picking safe options and then conditioning your opponent to like try to punish those safe options, and then that's when you kill them for it.
Yeah.
That was unfortunate.
That was sad.
We'll just go through the rest of the game pretty quick, and we'll do like a little wrap up of all the notes.
Sure.
Yeah, this is the sort of like... Oh, alright, so one last point I'm gonna make. There's so many things to talk about in this game. But, if your opponent, like, is recognizing when your opponent's reacting to you. You see how he's dashing?
Yeah.
He's staring at you, waiting for you to do something.
Yeah, do something stupid.
Does that make sense? Like, yeah, exactly. Like, it's the same thing when, like, what you should be doing when you roll, right? But it's like, you see how he's dashing? He's literally just like, I hope the puff does something stupid. I think it's like recognizing when your opponent's just like dashing and not committing. Just don't do something stupid. You don't have to. That's what he's looking for. But also,
started getting the hang of that, but I do a lot of stupid shit still.
Yeah, it's not about the stupid shit, because the stupid shit can be good if you bait for the stupid shit or you expect your opponent to do something stupid. But I think it's never do the stupid shit if you think your opponent's like looking at you reacting, because like as soon as your opponent's doing that stupid dash dance in place, you know all they're thinking about is looking for you to do something they can punish. That's it. That's like, I think it's just like recognizing if you're in the air and your opponent's dashing, that they're waiting for you to do something stupid, and you just don't press the button. You can just play it slow. That's good. Yeah, I want to go. Yeah, again, I want to go back to that one bear, because I think that one bear you did where you like paused and you hit that. That's like the entire like philosophy I've been trying to go over, which is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just like, I think a puff specific thing is like you don't have to land like that landing bear is like you just have to. You can do an uncle punch or something else. It's just getting comfortable with your timings. Because I've noticed you try to do this landing bear and it not come out, and you'd be stuck in lag like a lot of times. So I think it's just getting something you should maybe do an uncle punch, or like when you're warming up, like you should do maybe like a little bit of movement warming up on platforms, shield dropping, like wave dashing, whatever. But, like, it's just getting comfortable with like the different bear heights and getting comfortable with the landing bear, because it's clear you've screwed that up like 3 or 4 times, I've noticed. Whereas like you try to do the landing bear and you just miss it.
Yeah, I have no idea why.
It's just a timing thing where it's like sometimes you just like sometimes you don't you do a tech too fast or too slow and it slightly changes, and you just have to go into like Uncle Punch for 10 minutes to fix it. It's not like a big problem, it's just like something you just have to go, I've dropped this. Like when you go into a session, like often when I'm looking for a tech skill, like if I notice myself dropping like a tech I should have like 4 or 5 times, I just go into Uncle Punch for 10 minutes. At the end of the session I fix it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not a big problem. It's just like something that you should just take 10 minutes and you fix it. That's fine. You don't have to force it. Like, he's looking for you to be greedy. Like, do you see where he's playing? He's here. Right? He's not pushing the ledge, right? He's like you've made him expect, like, okay, how do I explain this? It's if he's playing this far back from the ledge, it's because you haven't been playing patient enough.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Does that make sense, right?
I do a lot of just like forward air straight from the ledge.
Yeah, exactly. Like you see, like this should never work on Jigglypuff. Like, if you like, I think if you notice your opponent's playing back here, all you have to do is like play in this area more.
Yeah.
Because like they should not be hitting you like from here. This is so safe, right? Like if he's allowed to play in this area and hit you, and you're not allowed, like, and you're not coming back for free, that's a problem. Like that, you're the only reason Melodic's doing that is because he expects you to be lazy off ledge.
Yeah.
All you have to do is not give him that.
Yeah.
Nice, good. I like that a lot. Where you went down, you went up. That's good. I like a lot of that. That was good. Yeah, playing at the like when you're flipping it. This is really good too. So when you're playing versus Marth up B, you want to be playing behind it.
Yeah, because that's not where
Because
the
then
hitbox is.
exactly, and then you can go through it. Yeah, that's good. But yeah, you could have just as soon as you react to the Marth, like as soon as you do the Marth, as soon as you wait for like if you're looking to the Marth up B and you're like behind the hitbox, you can just wait and like go to the Marth. It has like a million frames lag, so you could have just moved to the other side and hit him back off stage and killed him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's why.
Get up.
Yeah. But you could have avoided that situation completely if you did the like the reverse edge guard on the other side, because as soon as you react to that B, you could be like, oh, I have a million years, I'm gonna go to the other side, I'm gonna hit him.
Yeah. At this point, I'm just like, oh, please don't get four stocked. Please don't get four stocked.
Oh no. Oh. Yep, that's good. I like that.
Yeah.
That was good awareness. Good job. Yeah, rip. Oh, comebacks. Honestly, like, if you're the, like, what are you thinking in this moment? Because if this ever happens to me, like, even I'm Peach and I'm not even Puff, I'm just like, you win this game. Like, honestly, I favor the Puff in this game. Like, if I was a betting man, I'd favor Puff. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, then I just get tipped. But yeah.
But yeah, it's like
a little bit of hope.
That's a really good mentality to have in tournament, but it's just like, because Puff thrives on your opponent being antsy, and as soon as as soon as your opponent goes from 4 stocks to 2 stocks versus Puff, they're gonna be looking to end the game. They're like, ah, fuck, I've screwed up. And as soon as you do that, all you have to do is play a bit more patient and like a bit more like play on the, like what I'm talking about, playing on the edge, and then you get that one punish and suddenly they're in the last stock. And all you have to do is rest them. I think it's just like recognizing your opponent's mentality, because like I think it's a mentality thing, because it's natural to think. This is what HBox does so well, by the way. This is why he's a god. Is because like he's really good at recognizing when the opponent starts to want to be antsy and just changing the pace. Because like basically, as like if I'm in that position and like that 2-stock comes down, I'm just like, I'm in a favorable position to win the game because I know my opponent's mindset is they want to finish it. Which makes all of my options like way easier to pick. But yeah, that's just like a cute little mindset thing. I wouldn't mind going over, like, if you do a tournament, if we end up doing a follow-up session, I wouldn't mind, because tournaments obviously are very, this is, like, most of what we've talked about is, like, gameplay-based, but I'd love to have a look at, like, a tournament, like maybe 1 or 2 games out of a tournament set, and just, like, have a chat about how you're feeling and what you were, like, what your mindset was going to options, because tournaments, like, really, when it comes, like, all comes together, and, like, what you know comes out.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, that was good. Well, before we go into notes, what do you think of like all of that? Do you have any? Yeah.
A lot of things that I didn't really know, like I kind of know now.
That's really cool.
I know I got to kind of adjust. But yeah, no, I kind of just had like a view on Puff that wasn't really right. I guess like I said before, I felt like I had to force the issue a lot against Marth, because like my theory behind that was like Marth has bigger aerials, it's faster. I feel like I've got to like find my way in somehow.
Yep.
But
yeah,
I don't need to do that. I can do it every now and then, I guess, like as a mix-up or something. But like,
it's not really finding your way in. It's weaving your way in. It's not
Yeah,
about
that's
it's
that's
all about
yeah,
weaving. So like you can find your way in like wave dashing under an aerial or like wave dashing in for a grab. You can do it like playing at the edge of the range and then just like weaving over where their fair would be and like landing behind them. It's
yeah,
never about forcing your way in. It's about think about like it's okay to like look for a way in, but it's about weaving your way in.
yeah. That
And,
makes sense.
and the last thing I want to talk about Marth is if you have a lead, the entire game changes. Marth struggles at approaching puff. So it's like if you have the lead, the Marth has to approach you, and if the Marth doesn't have to approach you, that's your problem. Like that's your fault. You should be playing on the
Yeah,
side platforms. You should be hovering around the center of the stage, and you should be making the Marth move forward to hit you. Because if you notice, we'll go. Actually, I want to go back to that fair because it's like the same point. If you because as soon as the Marth has to fade forward on an aerial, is when it's so easy to punish if you're there to punish it.
yeah,
Does that make sense? Like as soon like Marth fading area, like Marth fairing in place, almost impossible to punish. Marth like fairing forward, if you're just above it, easiest thing in the world, right? So
yeah,
as soon as you have the lead, you should be. I don't remember what this bear was, but as soon as you have the lead, you should be forcing the Marth to move forward
yeah,
because
yeah.
that's just easier for the puff to deal with.
Yeah, I like a day or two ago, I kind of like decided that I wanted to just start camping the shit
Mhm.
out of characters like Marth, Peach, Ices. If I ever run into Cookbook or
Mhm.
something, if I get a lead, then I'm just gonna
Yeah,
literally
it's it's it's
sit,
it's
sit on the
it's
blast.
it's not quite about camping because you don't want to be in the blast zone, but it's about playing at like being comfortable not approaching and playing at the edge of their range.
Yeah,
You still want to have the stage, right? But you want to make the Marth move forward and do something because like that's remember what we were talking about the hitbox extrapolation.
yeah,
Hitbox is worse moving forward, and because they're moving forward, it's easier to punish.
yeah,
All right, so it's like if you can make your opponent move forward, you should.
okay,
Um, let's go over like let's have a look. All right, so we'll go over each of the individual stuff, but like remember, be comfortable. Like even if you're not amazing at edge guarding yet, be comfortable picking and going for options that lead to edge guards. Just be
yeah,
comfortable bearing like what you should like. If you're puff, you should be either trying to rest your opponent or you should trying to get them off stage. Like those are your
yeah,
two goals as a player. And like if you're
yeah,
not going for those, like that's something you should be trying to fix.
yeah,
Yep.
definitely.
Um, do you remember what we were talking about in regards to biting? Can you explain that one for me? Like when
Give me
you
a
pick a
second.
defensive option?
Um, oh yeah, so if I pick an option like spot dodge or if I pick crouch or something,
Mm-hmm.
I need to have the whatever the LOD's term
Yeah.
was for it or whatever, and just have that on reaction,
Yep.
like in my mind.
You should be expecting them to do the thing you're trying
Yeah,
to punish.
yeah.
That
I
makes
just need
sense?
to, yeah,
Yep. I think that's going to be the most important thing. That's the difference. Like, you have to understand, that's the difference between, like, a Garfield and an Emps. Is every time Garfield crouches, he's like, huh, my opponent's going to grab me. But, like, Emps is
yeah,
like, I'm crouching, I don't know why, man. I don't know, it seems alright. I don't, and then he nares out of it, the crouch, and he gets 12% and he gets fed. Right? So
yeah, yeah,
it's the difference, like, as soon, you have to be, like, if you're going to pick a defensive option, you're going to commit to it, you should be expecting you should be expecting the opponent to do the option you can punish, because that's why you're picking it, right?
yeah,
I think another point was just like I think watch in general like think about fair and think about reacting to like Marth load side B and think about what you can react to and punish and the jump back fair. But I think you're gonna get the most out of that, not by like just this. I think just watch spods specifically for edge guards.
yeah,
I think just speed through HBox VODs. I don't know if there's any good tools. Maybe you can ask the Puff Discord if there's like a compilation of edge guards. But literally, I think you're gonna get so much out of just like watching Puff's edge guard over and over and over again.
yeah,
It
yeah,
probably is
definitely.
worth watching. I reckon maybe ask them after like the Puff Discord or something like that. Just if there's an edge guard compilation. Because I don't know if you know about me, but like there's a video I've watched probably about 100 times. Uh,
What video?
yeah, we'll just
Of
link it
like,
here. It's this video, and there's two of them. But it's literally there's literally like if there's one like this for Puff or there's any sort of tool like this for Puff or Guide, but it's literally just Armada edge guarding for 40 minutes. And if you watch it and you like watch all the individual edge guards, you sort of realize what they're reacting to and why they're picking options, and you start implementing them yourself. But if you literally just like you can do a similar thing by just like speeding through a VOD and watching every edge guard situation. But it's like if you can ask like a Puff for like a resource like this, it's invaluable, like literally invaluable. Like you get so much more out of it.
yeah, that makes sense.
And then I think. So the other thing was just be comfortable recovering slowly and like playing higher and not full drifting in recovery. Just like playing at the edge of their range and either like trying to bear them attacking you at the edge of their range, or like falling in when they don't expect it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think it's just being comfortable playing a few more seconds at the edge of their range while recovering, or like while in a disadvantaged spot before you like commit to the actual recovery mix up.
Yeah, definitely.
And then something, yeah, like to tie this all together, I want you to sort of like just be aware and like pseudo ban yourself from like full drifting in with bear.
Yeah, I'll do it. Definitely.
Yep. I think like it might feel bad at the start because you don't really know how it works and you might get hit a lot at the start, but like long term you'll like understand so much more about how Puff is meant to move around their opponent.
Yeah, I don't mind like screwing around on unranked.
Yep.
And, like,
That's
being
perfect.
worse for a while. Like, I don't give a shit. I'll do it.
Yeah, it'll get you invaluable in the future. Like that playing at the edge of the range is what makes Puff disgusting.
Yeah. I'd like to be a disgusting Puff.
Yeah. I'd love to see a disgusting Puff in Australia. The only one who goes Nick. That man is gross. That man is very hard to hit. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. What I want to go, and the last thing of what I like to do with that full drift in, I think about it as pausing. Like pause on the edge of their range and then fall on them.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the easiest way to visualize it. It's sort of letting your opponent hang themselves. Where you sit on the edge of the range, your opponent doesn't move and you fall on it.
Yeah.
You can do that with up air too, you can do that with bear, you can do that with a lot of things, but it's just like getting used to like your opponent falling, like hanging themselves and then you fall on them or you go under them, sort of thing.
Yeah. That's good.
I think that's about it. What do you think? How do you feel about it all?
Pretty great.
I appreciate that. Like any feedback you have for me, anything you wanted me to cover that I didn't, or anything like little like that?
Not that I know of. No, not really.
Okay, cool.
I got yeah. No, it's just good.
Sweet.
A lot of it.
So what I generally like doing, I think what Josh used to do and what a lot of people used to do is I like doing like a follow-up session like 3 to 4 weeks ago, but it won't be like a full hour thing. It'll be like a 30 to 40 minute thing where we go over all the points here and then we see like how you've been implementing them. Because like a lot of this stuff takes like I've shat a lot of information on you in this session, right? It's gonna take a lot of this stuff is gonna take years, but I think like what the follow-up session can do is like really see if you're implementing the ideas in the right way or how you've like improved and like what direction you should take them in the future. But instead of just doing like a full review session where we go into like another 20 topics because it's just a bit overwhelming.
Yeah.
So it's like if you wanted to do like we'll talk about it later, but like I recommend like a small little follow-up session in maybe like 3 or 4 weeks. If you wanted to do that.
That sounds fire.
Cool. I think that's it then, man. Thanks for having me as your coach.
Well, thanks for coaching.
All right, we'll chat later, man.
Yeah, no. See ya, man.
See ya. All right, that's it. Bamboozled. Oh, thanks. What did everyone think of the session? Well, we're in chat before we finish up here. Oh, we'll stop recording as well.